everybody. Tonight, I'm going to tell you what is the number one factor, the biggest thing that helped me to lose and then maintain a 100-pound weight loss for 14 plus years. I lost it when I was 38. I'm 54 now, and I've managed to keep it off for quite a long time. That's not really the norm. And when I got to thinking about this show and all the things that have gone on and all the things that have happened and the solutions that I can offer to you, everything that I did was kind of wrapped up into this one thing, and that's what I'm going to share with you tonight. So my name is CJ Johnson. My background is actually in the golf industry. That's where I put on all the weight. And then after that, that's when I took off the weight and I turned my passions to health and wellness. And I help people who are over the age of 40 who want to look and feel their best. And that's what I do every Tuesday evening. I'm here with you. If you stick around to the end, I do have a special thing that will help you. It's a special little freebie that I have for you that will help you to find out exactly what you need to do to get into the best shape of your life. So make sure that you stick around to the end, and I will give you that website address. But also, any questions? Please put them down in the question box. I will try and capture them, and hopefully Facebook is working well tonight and I can see them. So let's go ahead. I got to show you this picture, and I think I start off every show with this. This is me at age 38. That's what I used to look like. That was a size 20 suit. It was actually one of my favorite suits. That was a red Ralph Lauren suit, and I bought it specifically for this picture. I was getting a very special award, and that's what I looked back then. And I really thought that I was a pretty healthy person. I was a golf pro. I thought I was an athlete. What I really was I was obese. Take a look at the picture. I was obese. So tonight I want to talk about that one thing that all the different behaviors really tied into for me. And it's really pretty easy. It is accountability. But all of our behaviors, or all of my behaviors, have that one common thread. I was accountable in a variety of different ways. And that's what I want to share with you tonight, because I think that's the one factor. I know that that's the one factor that helped me to make the change, and frankly continues to help me to make the change. Every time I think I got this, I'm good at this, I got it handled, my body changes yet one more time, and I'm looking for new solutions. So it's accountability is the common thread. So I want to share why accountability works, why it's so super important, how to find the right partner. And partner's kind of a loose term there. There's a lot of different ways to get accountability. And then lastly, I want to talk about maximizing it. And really, it's kind of, you're going to get what you give. Isn't that always the case in life? So if that sounds good to you, give me a little thumbs up if you would. Give me a thumbs up or a little heart. And we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Okay. All right. So the very first thing is why accountability works. I absolutely love this picture. You can see it's a cat who's painting himself, doing a little self-portrait, and he's looking over into the mirror, and then he's doing the painting, and they look nothing alike. I can totally relate to that. I just showed you the picture of what I used to look like. I was convinced that I was an athlete. I think my phrase was, what did I say? I'm a little big. Something like that. Yeah, a little big. I was obese. I was not a little bit big. I was an obese woman. I would say, oh, I'm fairly physically fit. I couldn't walk up a set of stairs without huffing and puffing. My point is, accountability works because how we see ourselves and how the world sees us, or how we truly are, usually are not the same thing. I spend a lot of time trying to get in touch with how I present myself to the world, because I really want to be the best person I can be. And I'm sure that you did the same thing that I do. You want to be the best you can be, so you really try and get in touch. And you're probably better at it than most of the other people are that are out there. But we're certainly not perfect. I think of it almost like swinging a golf club, or, I'm a ski instructor too, is like being on a pair of skis. What we're doing and what we're really doing are so many times two different things. And we need somebody there who can help us to readjust when our perception looks more like this kitty cat. I really do love that picture. When it looks more like this kitty cat who thinks he's a big old tiger. Because the fact of the matter is this, is we are not islands. I know it's easy to think we're islands. It's easy to separate yourself from the world. We are not islands. There is nobody who is an island. We are all intertwined with each other. In fact, I tell you, every time I think I'm an island, I have this saying. It's called I'm fine. When I start telling people, oh, I'm fine, I got this, I'm fine, it's fouled up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. And that's usually what I am. If I am telling you, oh, I'm fine, I'm great, I need people. I need systems. I need things in my life to hold me accountable. Because I gotta tell you, the person looking in the mirror, I'm not very good at holding myself accountable. I seem to let myself off, and I seem to give myself excuses, and I never seem to give myself the right encouragement. And that's one of the benefits that you get. If you've got somebody out there, you can get encouragement. You can have someone who's a sounding board. You've got someone who can say, you know what, that sounds great, CJ, and maybe that worked for you, but here's what worked for me. I had a friend a while back, and I was going through some stuff, and he was my sounding board, right? He was the person who was holding me accountable. And I said to Bill, Bill, I just, I'm trying to do what I did the last time I was in this situation, and it just isn't working. And I went through the litany of things that I'd done. And he looked at me with just a very straight face, and I don't know if you heard what I just said. I said, I kept trying to do the things that I had always done. He looked at me and said, well, if the things you have always done aren't working, isn't it just time to try something new? Duh, yes. And that's what an accountability partner can do. Sometimes the answer may be right in front of my nose and I don't see it. Or sometimes the answer is I have to go and search for. Maybe that person has it. But they can give us encouragement and advice. And that's one of the reasons that it really works. The other big reason that it works for me is I tend to carry this big stick. Now, I never beat you with that stick. I should say, I never try to beat you with that stick. That doesn't mean I don't. I never try to beat you with a stick. When I am helping somebody, I try to be loving and encouraging and give them what they need. But boy, when it comes to me, and I think a lot of us are like this, I pull out this really big stick and I just want to whack myself with it. If you can relate to that, put a comment down below, say, yes, CJ, I can relate to the stick. And I have this friend, Yogi, and Yogi says, put down the stick, back away from the stick. By having somebody who I am accountable to other than myself, I am less tempted to use the stick that I would use if left to my own devices. So that's just a couple of things why accountability actually works. So everybody putting down their stick, I'm just going to give it a little check here. All right. Okay. Nobody uses a stick, I take it. All right. Okay, I'm going to put a little comment in there. Sticks, anyone? All right. Okay. So the second part to this is, now that you know why accountability is important, accountability comes in a lot of different forms. And here's essentially really what it is. It's how to choose. I really like to think of accountability as a puzzle piece. I have a problem, there's a solution over here, and I need something to bridge the gap between the two. And most often when we start to think of accountability, we start to think of a person. And we're going to start there because a person is kind of the most common thing. But accountability studies have also shown that it's not just a person. You need to pick the right person. And that's not the person who has all the money, or that's not the person who has all the things or all the stuff. There are a couple things that will make that person a better accountability partner for you than another. The first thing is that person has more discipline than you do in the area that you are trying to change. They may have a very undisciplined life, but they may really be great at one thing. That's the kind of person that you're looking for. You're looking for somebody who will hold you accountable, somebody who's not afraid to tell it like it is. So that person may or may not be a friend. Sometimes with our friends, we love our friends, and I know my friends accept me with all my warts and my faults, and bless their hearts, they just bite their tongues sometimes when they say CJ's bad character defects coming out. They just say, I love her in spite of that, and I don't see that very often, so I'm willing to forgive that. But a stranger, on the other hand, sometimes they'll just call it like they see it and maybe be just a little bit more honest. So you want somebody who's more disciplined than you are, and you want somebody who's going to be honest with you. The last thing you really want is somebody who's going to have time. Somebody who is going to have time to spend with you. And it doesn't have to be exorbitant amounts of times. They don't have to be daily check-ins. They certainly could be. We're going to cover that in just a little bit. But it's somebody who has the time to really look at what you're doing and offer to you some constructive criticism. So because it's time, it may or may not be a person. Now, the first thing that comes to mind, if you're thinking about fitness, is somebody who's doing this for a business. Somebody who is a personal trainer, somebody who, like myself, is a health coach. I'm a health coach and a personal trainer. Somebody who's got the professional knowledge, as well as, I think personal experience goes a long way. Professional knowledge is one thing. I'm not going to diminish that whatsoever. I've gone out and I've gotten my professional knowledge, but personal experience and going through those same types of things you are in life, those are important. I look on the internet and there's some great, and I'm going to say kids, because I see some 30-somethings on YouTube who are doing videos telling people our age how to exercise. And you know what? They understand it. They understand. They've got the book learning. They got the accreditation. But you know what? They've never been 50. They do not know what it is like to feel the way that we feel and to have some of the limitations mentally and physically that we may possibly be feeling. So the first thing you might want to look at is a professional, because here's the deal. If you're trying to get healthy and fit, I think of professional athletes, and I don't care what sport you think it is. Most professional athletes, I would probably say 99% of professional athletes out there all have a team that's surrounding them. They have coaches, they have trainers, they have physical trainers, they have physical therapists, they have a variety of resources to help them to be the best that they can be. Now, of course, money is no object to a lot of those people. They're making a great living off of sport. But we can take a lesson from them and do that inside of our budget. Professional trainers are a great way to do it. There's also a lot of wonderful free resources out there if you're in a position where you can't afford a trainer. Come to my blog site. I'm constantly putting up information to help you to be better. So you can take the information and you can put it in an accountability system, share it with another person and say, I'm going to try and do X. I would hope that you might hold me accountable. The other thing is to look at different groups. So one of those might be a fitness partner. I'm going to tell you, when I started this journey, my very first step number one, numero uno, and my husband can attest to this, is I asked him to walk with me. I asked him to walk with me 3 nights a week. And he did it. I didn't have to bug him. He was there. When I didn't want to walk, he was like, aren't we going to go walking? He would always ask me, and I didn't want to disappoint him. He was somebody that was there for me, that was always there for me. He knew I was trying to get healthy. He knew I was struggling. He knew I was overweight. He's 6'2" tall. When we were walking at that point in time, keeping up with him was like running. It was excruciating. It was nasty. I hated it. But it helped me to lose some weight. Helped me to lose enough weight so that my next step was to go get a personal trainer at the gym. And she was my accountability partner, because I was the kind of person who worked. That is all I did. I had a corporate career. I was focused on that. If I had an appointment with her at 6 o'clock at night, I left my job and I went to meet her. Otherwise, I was going to owe her money. And that is the only way I would have gotten my butt to the gym. Now I can tell you today, it's 14 years. I've come a long way since then. I work out at home. I am my own accountability partner in many, many ways. Not all. I still have a trainer that I go to who I say, this is the fitness plan that I'm working on. Here are my goals. Here's my fitness plan. Can you help me and give me feedback? So that's a couple ways. It might be a partner. It might be a friend that you could walk with, perhaps somebody at work. The top one here is a group exercise class. Maybe you can have somebody go to a group exercise class, meet some people, see if they come there regularly, and create a group accountability through that. That was also real important to me at one point in time. How about the digital world? Right now, I've got a group going through the Whole Life Challenge. And the Whole Life Challenge is an amazing thing that helps you to change 7 steps inside of your life. And it's a game, and we play, and we have fun, and we have a news feed, and we're holding each other accountable. So groups digitally can be a great way to go. One of my first things was Weight Watchers. I got with Weight Watchers online, and I started doing it online, and I was accountable to that program to count my points each and every single day to do it. I'll tell you, we're talking about eating. John and I are doing this Whole Life Challenge together, and one of the things you get is you get to start the day with 5 points, and every time you make a choice that's not on your food list, you lose a point. Last night he came to me, he says, I want some soda crackers. I said, well, you can have some soda crackers, but you're going to have to trade a point for it. He looked at me and he went, no. Not worth it. Not worth the point. So those are the types of accountability things. So don't just think of it as a person. It might be digital. It might be a group. It might be a class. Meetups, that's another great resource. There's all kinds of free meetups. If you go to Meetups, meetups.com, go to meetups.com, put in fitness for your area. You're going to find all the different groups that meet. Some of them may have a charge, some may not. But it's a great place to find other people who are also looking for accountability partners. Because chances are, if you find an accountability partner, you may or may not, you may need to be their accountability partner. And that's what we're going to talk about next. But first, okay, all right. Hi, Lee. Hi, Hal. I see that you have joined us. Oh, John, you don't have any sticks, right? Okay, yeah. Sure, no sticks whatsoever. Okay. All right, so give me a little thumbs up. We're going to go back, and we are going to finish this off. Oh, Sandy, you look like you've joined us as well. Hey, how you doing? I'm glad you're here. So I'm going to close this out talking about when you find that partner, how to be a good partner, or if you're asked to be an accountability partner. So one of those things, and I feel like a broken record sometimes, and I know I'm always harping on this, it's about goals. If you are going to use an accountability partner, you need to tell them specifically what it is that you want to be accountable for. It's not, you don't go to somebody and say, I want to lose weight. What you say to someone is, I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 8 weeks. And you set some realistic goals. And in order to lose 10 pounds in the next 8 weeks, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do X and Y and Z and these types of things. Okay? So you set goals. So you make them very specific. And you share them with that person. Your accountability partner should never be in the dark that A, number one, they are your accountability partner. And B, number two, of what you're doing and how they can help you. So that's the very first thing, is set very clear-cut, focused goals. If you're asked to be an accountability partner, ask that person, what do you want? What are you trying to accomplish? Okay. The next question I usually ask, or the next question that I share with my new accountability partner, is, what do I need from you? And I call that the carrot or the stick. Okay, so some of us respond better to carrots. Some of us respond better to sticks. What do you respond better to? One of the questions I always ask when I am coaching and I am working with somebody is, I always say to them, when it gets rough, and you've told me you want to lose 10 pounds in 8 weeks, when it gets rough and you hit a plateau and it looks like you may not achieve your goal and you're ready to go back to your old habits and just say, oh, the hell with this. What do I have to do? How am I going to be the most help to you? I have never, in all my years of coaching, I have never had anybody go, I don't know. They always tell me, CJ, you need to get on me. You need to make sure you get in front of me. You need to remind me of X, Y, Z. You need to do this. Or, you know what, CJ? Leave me alone for a day or two. I'll work my way through it and I will be back to you. Just let me know that you're there. Just send me a text and let me know that you're there. Well, one of the things that I always ask is, how do you want me to coach you when the time gets rough? And that's also one of the things I always tell whoever I am working with. This is what you need to do for CJ. I am the kind of person who responds to being reminded of my goals and why they are important to me. That brings it home. So are you a carrot or a stick kind of person? You know, the other thing that's really important is I think we all kind of like carrots to some extent. Some of us respond to the stick a little bit, but I think we all kind of like carrots. So one of the things I like to do for myself is I build in rewards into whatever it is that I'm trying to do. And especially if it's weight or fitness, they are non-food rewards. And they're usually pretty simple. It might be I get to go see a movie that I have been looking for, or I get to buy, I like workout clothes. I gotta tell you, I like tights. I love a company called Skirt Sports. I've got a ton of them. I set some goals and say, I need a new workout shirt, or I need a new skirt sport outfit, and I don't get it until I achieve my goal. And I share that with my accountability partners and tell them that that is what I am working towards. And that's one of the tools that they can use to remind me. So even if you're a person who likes a little bit of a stick like I do, there's always a little bit of carrots there for you. The last thing to do with your accountability partner is to really make sure that you have set up check-ins. How are you going to work with that person? Are you going to text? Are you going to, like I was telling you about the Whole Life Challenge. We have a news feed. So every night when you're posting your score, all of our info goes into the score, and you can put in there if you're struggling with something, or if you're doing really well, or whatever you need help with can go right into that news feed. Does email work for you? Do you need to get on the telephone with somebody? And I got to tell you, the telephone is okay. But boy, video, being on video with somebody, using a Skype, doing a FaceTime, seeing how a person looks, to me, that's really important, because our body language, right? I forget what the statistics are, but our body language is, 80 or more percent. I don't remember what it is, but I know it's really high. Our body language is a large percent of how we communicate. And if you're on the telephone or if you're texting, you really can't see that body language. Text is okay to remind a person of maybe what's coming up or what's going on, but video is pretty good. In persons, face-to-face, those types of things. I'm truly a big fan of those. But there's a lot of different ways to check in. The important thing is that you agree to it. You decide when and how it is going to happen. And if you're looking for daily check-ins, you might have to do a little bit of that by text. Sometimes we're busy people, right? Everybody's busy. We're busy. You can't always check in with your accountability partner on a daily basis. Again, it depends on what your accountability partner is. But schedule a time and then stick to those times. So that's what it is, accountability. That's why it works. So if you missed it, if you jumped in the middle, you can catch this in the replay, but you need to know why it works. And it's because we do not always see ourselves the way that we really are, the world sees us. How to pick that right partner, and then how to optimize it. So I'm just going to take a real quick look. If you make sure that if you have, hey Vicky, how are you? Oh, Vicky, my pickleball friend. I wish I was out playing. I tweaked my back and I haven't been playing any pickleball. I'm going nuts. My activity right now is walking. I got to tell you, that is so boring and I can't do very much of it. So, but anyway, if you got any questions, make sure you go ahead and put them down in the bottom. Just did want to remind you, I talked a little bit about the Whole Life Challenge. Still have that going on. Have openings until tomorrow, which tomorrow is I'm looking at my calendar. Tomorrow is the 25th of April. So you can still take advantage of the Whole Life Challenge and get some of that group coaching and changing the 7 habits. I gotta tell you, it's just amazing what some people are already doing. I've got somebody who, one of her goals is to give up Diet Coke. She is trying to kick a Diet Coke habit. She has been stopping at McDonald's like every day kind of excluding everything else in the morning to get her Diet Coke. She has now gone since the 14th. So more than a week without Diet Coke. She's rocking. Her name is Sue. So there, Sue, little encouragement for you. Keep it up. That's awesome. But there's a lot of people who are making a lot of changes using the Whole Life Challenge, and we are having a ton of fun doing it. If you do have some questions, you can put some information, tell me you got questions down below, or at 7 o'clock, I'm actually doing a Q&A with everybody who's in the Whole Life Challenge to answer some of their questions specifically about the challenge, so you can come back for that if you want to come back for that. Now, at the beginning, I mentioned that I had a little freebie for you. This is one of my favorites, and this is the last week that I'm going to offer this one up. I got something new coming for you for next week, so this is the last week. It is a fit test. It's a fit test based on the 5 key areas of fitness. It's your body fat percentage, your muscle strength and endurance, your flexibility and your mobility, your balance, and your cardio. 5 areas. How do you match up to somebody your age? You think, what percentile are you in? Are you above? Are you below? Where are you at? This is a free fit test. Got the free instructions, videos, scorecards, everything you need to know how to do it. Doesn't take super long. You can do these at different times of day. Probably all told, this is only going to take you about 30 minutes to do. But here's the good news is once you find out where you're at, because it's not a competition. Well, for most of us, it's not a competition about being the best. Once you find out where you're at, what you can do is you can then put a plan into place. We were just talking about goals, right? You can put a plan into place, and you can change and make some change. So that's what it's there for. You want to go to agewellwithcj.com/self-fitness test. Now, I have totally forgotten the one thing I haven't prepared, so I got to reach way over here. And I got to grab my notes, because the one thing I have not remembered is what the show is for next week. So I want to tell you that before I go. Let's see, what are we talking about next week? Here we go. Ooh, we're going to be talking about some nutrition, because I don't know if you noticed, but all the rules have changed, right? Once we hit 40, boom, they're different. You hit 50, they're different again. People tell me that when you hit 60, it gets different one more time. I know it's constantly changing, but I'm going to help you with some new rules of nutrition, how to fuel your body and make yourself feel better and achieve the health and wellness that you desire. So I'll be back here next week at 6 p.m. I hope that you can join me, because together we can train smart, live bold, and age well. Have a great night, everybody.